What's up, Drop Pod listeners? You can check out new episodes of the Drop Podcast every Tuesday and Thursday wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find all of our content on YouTube at the Drop Golf Podcast and on our socials. That's Instagram and Twitter at the Drop_pod. No matter how you consume us, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. Follow and listen along.
This episode is presented by All County Exteriors. Discover the excellence of All County Exteriors, a third-generation leader in premier exterior home remodeling, proudly celebrating over 40 years of success. While most remodeling companies last just 5 years, All County Exteriors has withstood the test of time, consistently delivering top-quality roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Their expertise extends from small repairs to large additions, serving homeowners and builders alike. More than just a construction company, All County Exteriors is deeply committed to community service, proudly supporting organizations such as the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the American Cancer Society, Roofs for Troops, and Parents of Autistic Children. If you have planned to do any exterior remodeling, call the experts at All County Exteriors for a free, no-obligation estimate for your project. Just call 732-370-2780 or email them at info@allcountyonline.com. That's 732-370-2780 for All County Exteriors for all your remodeling needs. This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing. It's the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro, and this is Ryan Kula.
What's up, Drop Pod people? Welcome back. We are very excited to be here this week. This week is episode 100. We've been doing this for not 100 straight weeks, Mike, but 100 straight episodes now.
100 straight weeks? What are you talking about?
100
straight weeks with 100 straight episodes.
Oh, I was confused by the interview Thursdays. So that's what I was thinking about.
100 straight weeks.
Wow. This has been a
100 for 100. We're like Cal Ripken. We got a streak going. Eventually it will be broken, but right now we're riding the high.
Really excited to be here. We got a bunch of stuff that we want to talk about. But Mike, I do want to get into the weekly schedule first, and then we'll get into some stuff. Just kind of give the people what they need in the beginning here. Yesterday was Labor Day, September 2nd. Magic Mike Monday. He played the ninth hole, par 4 at Forest Creek. It is the 2023 Best North Carolina Private Golf Course by Golf Magazine. Mike, that was on your trip that you had there, and I know you talked quite highly about that course when you and I were texting and even on the wrap up show. So you got to see it yesterday. If you didn't, head over to Instagram, head over to YouTube, go check it out. Watch Mike play the par 4 there. You might be surprised with what you see.
Listen, bird's the word.
Today, Tuesday, the 4th, episode 100. You got Mike and I on YouTube. You can check us out. You also have, obviously, Spotify, Apple Pod, wherever you get your podcast, you have us. But you can head over to YouTube and subscribe and watch us live as well. Wednesday, I took on Charleston Springs North. For how much I talk about Charleston Springs, Mike, it's my first time there this season.
Well, you're out exploring the world. What can I say?
It's been a busy summer for sure, but I was glad I got there and played and got to record. So that is Wednesday's episode. Thursday, interview Thursday. This week's guest is Eric LaFonte. Mike and I have some ties to Eric as we played in the same high school conference in various years, but kind of overlapped. But Eric is a 3-time NJSGA champion. He won the Mid-Am at Matitaconk. He's had a hell of a summer with his finishes, not necessarily coming up on top, but finished top 10 in a whole bunch of events, felt like, Mike. He's currently 8th in the NGSGA Player of the Year standing. So it was awesome to have Eric on. He's got a great story from how he learned how to play golf and getting into Maryland and then transferring to Ryder and kind of seeing the real side of what happens to people in golf. So he's got a great story, and it was really cool to talk to Eric. Again, someone I've known of for a long time, and it was really awesome to get to see. And I actually had to apologize to Eric off camera, because I had to tell him when I was first getting into golf, he was obviously a stud golfer in high school, and we got paired up together. And I remember he shot 1 under, and I shot like a 51 or something like that. So I had to apologize to him. But I don't think we were recording at that point yet. But really, really cool to have him on the show. And then Friday, you got Freaky Fun Friday. Whatever we got coming out on Friday will be popping up there. So that's our schedule this week. Let's get into topics, Mike, because I know we got a whole bunch that we got to talk about. I know we have some things to say, some updates and whatnot. But I think the first thing we got to start with is, at the top, we mentioned this is episode 100, and we would not be doing this episode if it wasn't for all of the sponsors, advertisers, listeners, followers, supporters, subscribers, anybody that's had anything to do with it, people that have just come up to you and I and said, "Hey, you're from the Drop Pod." Yeah. It wouldn't happen if it wasn't for all of you guys. So really a huge thank you. And I don't know, other than that, it doesn't seem like enough, but it means a lot that you guys have supported us through all this and really gotten us to where we are. So thank you so much for all of that help, support, the DMs, the hellos, everything. It really means a lot to us. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It's been quite a journey, and we're looking forward to 100 more.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when we made this announcement, what is now 23 months ago, that we were going to start a podcast, it was like, all right, let's see what can happen. And then to think 100 consecutive weeks an episode has come out. And I think that's sometimes you don't want to pat yourself in the back or say you're doing an amazing job, because our heads are down and we're constantly just spitting out content, interviews, episodes. Like, it is an unreal accomplishment when you think about, like, no matter if we've been on vacation, no matter if we've been sick, no matter if guests have, just hasn't worked out, like 100 straight weeks with an episode coming out is frankly crazy to me to think about. That, how busy, how hectic, how insane life can be, that we've been able to sit here. You've been able to deal with me for 100 straight episodes. I mean, it is one of those things. I think it is truly remarkable, because I think one of the things that people said early on to us is consistency matters. You're going to create a following that's going to expect an episode every week. And we've delivered that. Some have been good, some have been bad, and some have been somewhere in the middle. But like, no matter what, we've popped on here every single week. We've chatted with people. And it is one of those things that, like, I jokingly say to the moon. But I think when you step back and you look at it like, wow, this rocket ship is going very fast in the direction that not only that we want it, but it sounds like others do too. Man, it's crazy.
It really is, Mike. It really is. And like you said, good or bad, people are listening, people are following through sickness, through health, through being on vacations, to figuring out, hey, like, I'm going away. Like, I was basically gone for 2.5 straight weeks this summer. We still pumped out episodes. We still made it work. You had multiple family vacations this summer.
I don't even know if I was in New Jersey in the month of August.
Right? Still were able to make it work with, like, doing some pre-work, getting it done before. It's not something that's as easy as, like, hey, let's just do this. Let's record and talk. It is a lot of work behind the scenes. And like you said, frankly, to get it done has been nothing short of a miracle. But it does, when we get you guys the listeners, subscribers, when I'm waiting in line at the Happy Gilmore thing, and I have some guy come up to me and go, "Hey, you're from the Drop Pod," and then yeah, hey, oh, I love what you do, thank you, and he's just passing me in line because our line's going forward and he's behind me, or Parfessor come up to me, a guy that we've talked to, and he comes up and says hello, and now I can put a name to a face. And it's just things like that, those kind of interactions that make it meaningful. And I mean, even from those all the way down to like my closest friends that listen, who, hey, didn't like this episode this week. You said this too much, or this isn't a real thing, or I disagree with this, and so from everybody, from the strangers that have become friends to my friends who have become avid listeners. And I'm sure, Mike, you have the same thing. It's really been quite a ride.
Are you looking for the perfect place to tee it up this season? Or just looking for a great spot for casual comfort food? Or how about the most picturesque backdrop for the wedding of your dreams? Then you need to go visit Galloping Hill Golf Course in Kenilworth, New Jersey, conveniently located in Union County, right off exit 138 on the Garden State Parkway. Galloping Hill encompasses over more than 270 beautiful acres. It was again ranked in the top 10 of best public golf courses in New Jersey. Galloping Hill also offers a top 50 in the country learning center with 52 stalls and a 45,000 square foot practice area. In addition to a 9-hole course that is ranked in the top 10 of short courses in the entire country, Galloping Hill is more than just golf. The Hill Tavern Bar and Grill is a gastropub with seasonal food and beer options updated regularly with amazing views of the course. Hosting over 100 golf outings and over 400 social events per year, their catering team consistently wins awards each year from the Knot and the Wedding Wire. Schedule a tour for your special event at the clubhouse at gallopinghill.com. It's all happening this year at Galloping Hill Golf Course.
I do want to talk about some things on this topic, Mike, because, it is episode 100, and I got some things here, and I think you put this down, but you got some favorite things from this first 100? Either a favorite episode, guest, something memorable quote that happens. Like, in the NCAA tournament, they have like that one shining moment that happens at the end of the... What's playing in your mind for the one shining moment this first 100 episodes?
Well, I have to say it's the Jim Nantz one, because I think from my seat, trying to get Jim to get on the show and jumping through all the hoops that I did to finally land him, and then for the interview to go on while I'm playing golf in an actual tournament, yeah. I felt like I was having a CBS on-course interview as a PGA Tour guy. And you and I are interviewing him. I'm walking the fairways at Hamilton Farm in the 4-ball of the SGA Championship with Austin Devereaux. And I'll never forget, we're on the 10th hole. And I hear Jim in my AirPods, and we're walking down the fairway. And I made a birdie, like a 30-footer, with Jim Nantz in my ear in the match. And I'll never forget Austin pointing to me and saying, like, I think it's like here, but he didn't want to talk because Jim was in my ear and I couldn't really hear. So Austin's just pointing at a spot. I'm not that good of a putter. I hit it to where he did finally said, and the damn thing goes in the hole. And everybody's like, is this guy off his rocker? He's got Jim Nantz in his ear, AirPods in, he's rolling in 30-footers. It was like, I think a moment like that is something that just stands out so much because it's Jim Nantz. He's reliving the glory days of his time here in New Jersey. I'm playing golf. I'm doing something crazy. I just thought that whole experience was one of very, very many that I would not forget.
I can only imagine from your perspective, when I think about that interview, taking away that it's Jim Nantz, because it might be the most recognizable broadcaster of all time, right? Take that away. You had an interview with a broadcaster, with someone who does national television while playing golf in like an on-course interview. I wish that I was able to watch that from, like, be at the course watching you take that, because that must be very comical.
Listen, and the hoops that we had to go through to get him on, to then have to go to the NJSGA and say, can we do this then? To then I was going to have to step off the golf course to do the interview. Then they let me to do it on the golf course. I'm walking by myself. Dude, the whole thing was just an experience that like.
And I'll tell you, that interview from my perspective, I'm sitting in a, an old locker room at Eagle Ridge because I was getting ready to play golf. And I have Jim Nantz on my screen. It's me and Jim Nantz. He's on my screen because you were playing, so you had your thing. So it's just like I have Jim Nantz on my screen.
That's crazy.
And for him to say like, "Hey Ryan, hey Mike," like in his like historic voice was amazing. It really was incredible. So yeah, that was definitely one that I had up there. I did take some notes on this, Mike. I have a couple, like when I see this again, this one shining moment thing. I think of having Jack Wall on a few times and seeing this now run that he's made from high school amateur golf to now playing in college and all the amateur stuff that he played in, to winning at Manasquan River there, to now going pro. His journey that he's been on and is now continuing, that comes to mind. Like again, and probably more so you, because you know him better than I do, but almost like being proud parent of him. Like
the evolution of Jack Wall.
100%. Yep. And I do the same thing with Chris Gotterup. I coached Chris in middle school basketball, 6th and 7th grade. So I know Chris from when he's a little boy. So seeing him grow from like goofy 6th grader with a pretty good jump shot to, now professional golfer, and seeing that evolution again is really pretty neat for me. Another thing that comes is Essex Fells. We interviewed Gaff there. That was our first on camera, like live interview, if I'm not mistaken. And Gaff is known for putting. And I had 10 putts on the front 9. So like someone who's not known for putting, like that kind of comes up. Like that was an incredible experience, and all that comes there. I got the Nance interview here. One that I think goes underrated, when we had Ami John Condati on. I think I said her last name right. I was practicing it before the show. But like she blew my mind with all the analytics stuff that she was doing with her time at Harvard there, and all the stats and all that thing. That was really, really like, I see that interview and I kind of go Beautiful Mind, where you got all like numbers floating around, outside her head there.
Like the Matrix.
Exactly.
You like that movie reference?
That was good. You're not a movie guy, so you knew the Matrix. That was good. Playing at Seaview with all the stanchions up, Jeff getting us the last time. So the only people behind us there was like 1 or 2 professional ladies that were playing, hitting balls and seeing things there. That was really cool. Playing with all the stuff up, the seating and the signage and all that. And then I go to like a couple, like the NJSGA allowing us and hooking up with us to kind of preview and review their majors. That's been an incredible experience. The courses we've gotten to play are just unbelievable, and seeing that kind of grow, kind of where we started from just 2 guys. Again, I'm passionate about golf, but I'm nowhere near the golfer you are. So for someone like me to be able to get on to some of these places has really been, somewhere I didn't think we'd be able to go. But then talk to some of these people like Chandler Withington, Pat Coing, like their experiences. They are national guys in golf. That just like, it was so cool to hear their stories, talk to them, and honestly be able to present them, because I just think they got such great stuff. I think that it's just an amazing journey that we've been on there. But I didn't mention my number one thing, Mike. And I know you like number ones. I mentioned all those things.
Yeah, I listen. I can't say I'm surprised he just gave me a list of 15 things. I can't, because that's typical of you. But I guess I was waiting for what is the number one.
Our time at North Jersey.
I knew that was coming. I should have just set that up. I should have just baited you into some setup there.
I tell you, I said it then. I hope it's not recency bias, but Mike, the course, you know that I absolutely love the course, the company, the being able to interview. Again, we weren't really doing live interviews then, and we did one live. You know, I think about like we were just babies then in this, but being able to talk with Brian and James and seeing what James puts out on Instagram. You know, if you don't follow James Sirico on Instagram and see just absolutely beautiful pictures of what's just an amazing, beautiful golf course and seeing what they've done there, that's my number one experience for this first 100 episodes. Again, not taken away from, again, having Jim Nantz on my screen was great, but being able to play a top-notch golf course like that with those guys, it was just an incredible experience, and I can't wait to get up there again and legitimately, like, there's been some people we've had on that we'll occasionally interact with or see, but like I consider Brian and James and Brian, the head pro, they're legitimately friends. You know, I DM them, I'll like a picture, we'll go back and forth. Like they're just great guys.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I loved our time there. Those are two good dudes. I think if I recall correctly, North Jersey just won the NJPGA Course of the Year as well. So it kind of ties into exactly what you just said mentioned. But, you know, listen, I think when you step back and when our heads are down constantly working week after week, day after day, I think moments like this are fun because then you can step back and say, okay, let's just look and see what we have done. Let's reevaluate some things that need to get better. And let's look at what we have, because I think the guest list, I think, is something that when you think about our podcast being in the realm of podcasts for less than 2 years, being able to sit down in person with Michelle Wee West, incredible. Her taking pictures with us after that interview. Morgan Hoffman, Dan Rappaport, Dan Hicks twice, Dottie Pepper twice, Stu Hagestad twice. Like the list goes on and on for two guys like us that I think people have come to learn that when it's talking golf, it's playing golf, when it's experiencing all things golf here in the Garden State, like we're your one-stop shop. And I think that's what's nice about what we're doing is we're just trying to promote, enhance, and show people like, listen, this is the spot when it comes to golfing.
No doubt whatsoever there, Mike. Things for the next 100 episodes, other than a spaceship to the moon. You got any kind of predictions there, or obviously we're growing. You know, I go back again, like we had these little mics that we mic'd up Brian Gaffney for. We mic'd up the North Jersey guys. Now we're doing it. We're filming it. We're putting it on, on YouTube. I look back to where we were, and that was even well beyond what I thought we could accomplish. So I don't even know where we go the next 100.
Would you have a prediction?
To infinity and beyond.
Do you, is there some, what is it? You know, like I think if you think back to our interview with Leverett, we asked them, like, what's the end goal here?
Yeah.
And they said they wanted to get their own golf course. And I loved that idea. I thought it was kind of cool. Like, do you have again, tying in Taylor Swift here, like, do you have an end game here?
Mike, I don't know if I do. I'm really having a lot of fun with it. I think it's just continuing to showcase and, frankly, personally experience places. I know that we've talked about Bayonne, haven't gotten there. That's a place that we need to experience. Ridgewood, Baltusrol, like you talk about, like these upper echelon courses, and we've got to experience some great places. But I think it's to continue to experience and then showcase and shed light on those places and those experiences, and things like everybody knows Baltusrol, everybody knows Plainfield, but I don't think many people knew about North Jersey, and that's the nicest one that we've played. That's my favorite one that we've played, and no knock to those others, Union League was special. That place was incredible. Galloway is an incredible experience. So like there's all these places, and I think that what you and I have talked about and kind of why we started this is, yes, people know Baltusrol, people know Plainfield, people know Pine Valley, but I don't think they know the ones that are just as good, if not just a smidge below. There might not be hosting PGA tournaments at some of these places, but they're excellent. And I think that's what I look forward to, is continuing to show you people. And again, like I'll go back waiting online at at the Happy Gilmore thing. And a guy comes up to me and goes, "Oh, I love the par you made on that hole." Someone said that to me. Like, that was wild to see. And I wish, and I had texted you after about 4 or 5 people came up to me, but I wish that I had remembered to like write their names down so I could have shouted them out. But some guy was like, "Hey, you do the Drop podcast?" "Yeah." "It was Ryan, right?" "Yeah, that's me." "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, good." "Oh, I love that par you made. What a great up and down." Like, that kind of stuff is just, again, I know it's my golf game, but showcasing the courses, showcasing the experience, showcasing what's there. That for me is what I really like to do, having those interactions. Not to mention, if we could buy a golf course, that would be really nice too. What about yours? What's your end game here?
I want like a Spotify deal. I would love for some big media company.
You want a Kelsey Brothers deal?
I mean, in a dream world, sure. You know what I would love? I would love to get picked up by a big media network that helps us continue this journey, doing the things that we've done, really from like a grassroots area, from very organic, very authentic, very transparent way, to now getting it out to more people, more eyes, and then having this thing really kind of rocket ship to the moon. Because I think if we can find the right group, if we can find the right media network, if we can find the right, in a sense, the right financial backing to kind of take this thing even further, that would be an absolute dream scenario. That if this was a real full-time job for you and I, and we're sitting in an office and we're pushing out things more and more, and this was the 9 to 5, rather than it just being our side hustle and a hobby that's kind of turned into a business, that would be something that I'd be like, you know what? How nice would it be to wake up every day, do what you got to do in the morning, and then your job is to go promote golfing in the Garden State? Like, that to me would be the end goal. And I think you need a media network. You need some sort of media background. You need somebody that's not a school teacher like you and I, that's going to have that vision that we do to kind of help catapult us into that next area. But that's my dream. Especially when I see all these podcasters getting all this money. It's mind-boggling to me that I'm not looking for the money. I'm just looking for you to help me take this thing to the next level.
I got chills.
Was that good?
I would agree. That was great.
right out of his noggin.
So stay tuned for the next 100 and even more from there for us. But we're looking forward to it. We're having fun doing this, and it's been just an absolute blast. Enough of this mushy stuff, Mike. Let's get down to some of the brass tacks here. You and I are recording live from the Golf Cave in Eatontown. September 15th. We'll be there from 10 to 12. I think there are 5 bays, 5 rooms there that they have. Those that don't know about the Golf Cave, they're literally caves. You walk in, you close the door behind you. Some of these places have this open concept where you can kind of sit behind and you can kind of see everybody that's going on. The Golf Cave is a more of a closed off situation, but book a cave from 10 to 12. We'll be there. Come say hello. We're going to be hitting balls. We're going to be recording. Same kind of thing we did at the Dome, which was really pretty cool and a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a good day. Yeah,
listen, I've never been to a golf cave before. I haven't. And when, you start these conversations with people behind the scenes, you're honest with them. And that's kind of how I operate. And I told them I've never been. It interests me. But I think it's something that we should wait for the fall because that's when winter golf is right around the corner. And connecting with people like Karen behind the scenes and Lee behind the scenes and Russell, it's been a fun journey trying to navigate this whole thing. And then we finally found a date and time. It's on an NFL Sunday. So like you get a little 2 hours of golfing in beforehand. We're going to be there, and I'm not necessarily saying a table is going to be out and this is like a meet and greet type thing, but we're there. We're going to be recording that week's episode. We're going to go experience things by hitting a few shots, maybe playing a few holes. It's going to be something that you and I have ventured in this whole podcast thing is let's get out. Let's try to get out as much as we can. And our schedules aren't the most flexible, but if we can find a date, let's go do it. And this is just another example of how when you're trying to promote golfing in the Garden State, here is just another avenue of what you and I are trying to do that. And I can't wait to be there. I can't wait to experience their caves. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, you can turn on the TV and watch the NFL pregame show.
Get your bets in.
You can, do all that kind of stuff.
I say hello.
Yeah.
And say hello. I'll hand out a few stickers. I'll have stickers if anybody wants a sticker.
I do like that we're doing it in September. We got fall golf on the horizon, and man, fall golf is my favorite kind of golf. Especially with the leaf rule. I love, ball must be lost. It came right under these leaves. But that's I love this kind of time. And we're talking about in the Northeast here in New Jersey, you're not playing golf from December, January, February, maybe early March. So you got to go, if you got to scratch the itch, you got to go to these simulator places. And, we've been to the Dome. Now we're going to the Golf Cave. We've talked about Tee to Green on this show. So like just another avenue that as we get into that time where you guys got to start thinking about, winter is coming. You got to start, thinking about your golf games. And this is just another place where you can do that. So we'll be there. We'll be talking about it again. Mike said, we're going to hit some balls and we got stickers and stuff like that. So we'll be there and rocking and rolling. So.
Have you been to a golf cave? It's a perfect indoor golf experience for serious golfers. Golf Cave has been New Jersey based since 2012 with 4 locations and 3 more coming soon, all in the Garden State. What makes Golf Cave unique? Well, it starts with private luxury suites called caves. Each cave has a dual TrackMan simulator, leather recliners, TVs, a fridge, BYOB, and food. You get the idea. These are not bays like a driving range. They're private rooms loaded with technology all the pros use. Why go to the driving range when you could book a tee time, choose from over 250 of the world's best courses, and practice with purpose? Golf Cave offers hourly rates for tee times and memberships. Here's the best part. Golf Cave members get 24/7 access with their cave key. Even better, memberships are month to month and any unused hours roll over. So stop by the Golf Cave in Clark, Greenbrook, Eatontown, or Randolph, or visit golfcave.com to learn more. First-time visitors use code DROP, that's DROP, to get your first hour free. Welcome to the evolution of golf.
The Corn Ferry Tour, Mike, and the PGA Tour on a little bit of a hiatus this week. They're going to start up again the 12th with the Corn Ferry Tour playoffs continuing and the PGA Tour's fall season rocking and rolling. We're going to assume that Scotty wins today. Mike and I are recording on Sunday. Scotty hasn't teed off yet, but he's got a 6-stroke lead, something like that. You got to assume that Scotty's going to win, the tournament and win
a lot of money.
And frankly, player of the year. I know that we've kind of talked about that, but we don't have an update for you just yet. That's coming up. So they'll finish that. They'll have a week off and then their fall schedule. And that fall schedule is big for not the Scotty Schefflers, not the Xander Schauffele's, not the Rory McIlroys, but it's big for the Chris Gotterups, the Max Grazermans, the Ryan McCormicks. It's big for those guys who are outside of the points that need to get in or want to move up in their points standing, to kind of get them in so that they can keep their card for next year, get exempt from stuff for next year. It's big for them. Same goes for the Corn Ferry Tour guys. Morgan is looking to continue to jump into those. He currently sits at 136. So he's inside the top 144. But after next week, they go to the top 120. So he's got to make a move next week to get inside that. So these guys are grinding in that way to kind of, this time of year is to set them up for next year. So that's what they're fighting for on both sides of the tour here as we move forward.
Yeah, I'll add to that if you really want me to. I mean, because
ahead.
When it comes to the fall thing for the FedEx Cup and the PGA Tour guys, our 3 New Jersey guys, really Max and Chris have locked things up. Max finishing inside the top 50. He didn't get in this week, but last week he locked in everything for next year. Okay, he's going to play in all the signature events next year. Chris won on the PGA Tour, so he's got a 2-year exemption in terms of playing nonstop. He's not in the top 50, so he's not guaranteed all these spots. So playing in these tournaments will help him get into that position, because really all these FedEx the fall season more or less is an opportunity to lock up and improve their position. And then Ryan just needs to get things going. He's got to finish inside the top 125, and he's not there right now. So these events are huge for someone like him.
Yeah.
So, and then hopefully for Morgan, listen, to your point, you just keep playing well, keep moving up those rankings, and who knows what can happen.
I don't know where Ryan sits right now in those points, but we know he's got to get to the top 120. But when I was doing some research, Morgan
he's 169.
169. So he's got some work to do. He's currently 220 on the Corn Ferry Tour. He has 6 points. Maybe Max has 6 points on the Corn Ferry Tour. Yeah. I don't know how that works. I think there's like residual points for stuff, but
no, I think they played in one. I think Max actually played in one one Corn Ferry tournament, which is why he got points. But those guys on tour are, they would get full status down below if they got, in a sense, relegated. So Ryan's not looking to make those points. Morgan probably is more so, and Max and Ryan is trying to get his card really.
Yeah. So good luck to those guys and keep jockeying for position. It's again, while the playoff is done, the season is not. So I do a couple other updates there on the Corn Ferry Tour, Mike. Harry Higgs is currently 6. He's won, I think, 3 times on the Corn Ferry Tour. So twice. So I know he's already tour bound. Even when they were at the at Matitaconk, he had on his bib, he had a tour bound tag on it. John Pack sits 21st. Got to think he's going to be top 30 at this rate. He's just got to keep making cuts, but you think he's going to be inside that top 30. Cody Blick, not a Jersey guy, but his caddy is Chris the Caddy from New Jersey. He currently sits at 60th, so he's got to make a little bit of a move to get inside the top 30 there, but well inside the top 144, 120, and 75 in order to keep going up in the playoffs there. So just a little update there. And as we said, Morgan is currently 136. So, Mike, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about the Creator Classic that happened. We've talked about this before, either on air or off air, and everybody kind of talks about it. But talk about like how hard the golf courses are, or like even flipping it. What would a professional golfer shoot at your regular course? What is Scotty Scheffler? He goes to Manasquan. What's he going to shoot there? Like, what's his expectations? And this is kind of the reverse side of it. So what they did was they had 15 creators, golf influencers play on Wednesday. They played 8 holes. The top 4 guys went to the playoff on the 9th hole to see who won. And all these guys from Good, Busta Jack. You had a PGA Tour pro on there, apparently, as an influencer as well, with Wesley Bryan. But you had the Bryan Bros on there. You had Paige Ceramics. You had all these people. They invited, like I said, it's either 15 or 16 people.
16.
16. And and they got to play, and it was really cool to see. And these guys can play golf, right? Like to go, to go even 1 under, 2 under on basically the front nine shows that they can golf their golf ball, right? In those conditions, the day before a tournament, the rough is as full as it's going to get. The greens are fast, and these guys are not just ripping 50-yard hooks to a green on a par three, or drawing hearts on their golf ball, with their shot tracer. They're great golfers, and they were able to do it. And even the foreplay guys, gave the honorary tee shots. So it was cool to see the PGA Tour, for lack of a better term, like lighten up in this, and have guys that, like, this is a big part of golf now, and have guys jump in there and make some noise and kind of talk about, like, hey, this is stuff that we would like to see, that we want to see. This is all fun, and this is a big part of golf as well. Even if it's not the traditional golf, it's a big part of the game of golf right now.
Yeah, listen, I think it's the evolution of golf. That's where we're going with all this. And I think, I can honestly say I did not watch a single shot of any of it while on vacation, but I did go back and watch some things about, like, what was said, some of the shots that even like Mac Boucher hit with the upside down driver. I saw Mason Nutt from Busted Jack hit one off the deck. Like, I did see the ceremonial first tee shots, which I thought was kind of crazy. And Frankie erupting after he should have played. There was one disappointing thing, I think, from it is, obviously as these ideas are going on and things are happening, I did go back through our spam emails to see if something was sent to us in terms of if we wanted to participate, and nothing was there. So, I don't know who runs these events, whether it's Chad Mumm of Netflix or anybody on the PGA Tour, Mr. Monahan, like, hey, listen, I know somebody from the Drop Podcast would be more than willing to be the guinea pig to show you what it's really like for the average guy to go out there and do that. And I think, you versus Trent Ryan would have been a phenomenal must-watch television, because I think you are two big dudes that hit the fade, that are fan-friendly. I mean, to me, that just says and screams downloads, views, popularity. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because I didn't know if that, was a thought, if they didn't think we would show up, but, like, more than happy to extend the invite next time.
Yeah, next year. Or, I saw Portnoy put up that he wants to do something bigger. This was too small. Maybe they went small and they'll get bigger next year. But yeah, I'll tell you, me versus Trent is, I've said it before on this show. I think Trent and I are kindred spirits, and he, soulmate might be a tough word, but we're definitely each other's spirit animals, because, again, big guys, hit the fade, friendly. I think that he's not great at golf. I think that would be a really fun thing for us to do, because it would be so perfect for us.
Listen, it's a pay-per-view steel cage match, like no holds bar. You versus Trent. I'll carry for you. Frankie can carry for Trent. It is going to. I mean, listen, to me, that's must watch TV. So I'm just throwing it out there as another idea for the Creator Classic for next year.
Be one of the all-time pillow fights. All right, Mike. You got anything else for today?
No, listen, this is a wrap up. Thank you to everybody that listens, follows, subscribes, our advertisers, the sponsors. It's been quite a journey, 100 for 100. And here's the next 100, I suppose.
Yeah. Again, as we start at the top, thank you again. I couldn't even begin to start naming off all the people that we have to thank, but it's as I said, it's our listeners, viewers, subscribers, advertisers, sponsors, anybody who's been involved, people who have helped out in any way, shape, or form. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. We truly, truly appreciate it. Couldn't be done without you. So stay tuned Thursday for our interview with Eric LaFonte. Till then, cheers.